Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler and today we have the Byrd Cara 2 folding knife. Now, this is a lockback knife. This is an 8CR13 MOV blade. This pocket clip you can mount on 4 different sides, tip up or tip down. It does have quite a bit of hardware. Let's jump into what this looks like here. So we look like a T8 and T6 for the rest of these. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 T6 screws on one side. The good news is you don't have any on the other side. They're held in by these pins. These are FRN scales. And you do have this interesting wannabe Spidey hole, which I have found to... I was like, first it's cool. And the look of it's different because you're so used to the Spyderco hole. But it's not as comfortable as just the typical circular hole, just as an FYI. We have a lanyard hole that is not emphasized by anything other than your typical Spyderco-ish pocket clip with the lanyard hole going right through it. And overall, I mean, ergonomically, it's a pretty sound knife. You got a nice, large blade to go with you here. And for 30 or 33 bucks, it's not a bad purchase for what you're working with. I mean, you get a lot of knife for your buck there. Now, once again, you're paying for 8CR13 MOV. But that being said, for 30 bucks, 8CR fits the bill for that, right? We talked about different steels and different blade steels and you know, what's good and what's bad. And there, in my opinion, there's no good and bad. It's all relative to the price. An 8CR13 MOV for 30 bucks, I'm not terribly mad at. Now, you are getting D2 steel for 30 bucks. And with the CJRBs, the QSPs, but you're also paying for a Spyderco at this price too. So take that or leave it for what you will. Let's jump into some specs. So the overall weight on this guy is coming in at a whopping 3 ounces, 3.13 ounces. Had a special moment there. 3.13 ounces for quite a bit of blade, which is relatively impressive. Let's get into the overall length. So your overall blade length is coming in at about 3 1/4. Your cutting length is coming in at just about 3 1/2 plus or minus. And your overall length of the blade is coming at just over 8 3/4. Right at 8 3/4. So let's check your blade stock thickness. Blade stock thickness is coming in at 1.1 inches, so that's relatively thin. And the behind the edge thickness is... The behind the edge thickness is coming in at about 25 thousandths, so that's pretty good. It's got your typical Spyderco grind. It's a full flat grind for this. I'm not going to call it a leaf-shaped blade, but it's similar to a Spyderco blade, right? Obviously, this has a Spyderco counterpart. This isn't its exact counterpart, but if you look, this is the Delica 4. There's a lot of design language that comes from here, right? Even the way the pocket clip's emphasized, it's damn near the same frickin' knife, just a little bit larger at a budget price. And you're getting 8CR13. Did I miss? Nope, I didn't miss anything. So before we jump into these overall size comparisons, we do have some skeletonized liners here. Let's see if you guys can see that. No, you really can't. They're skeletonized, take my word for it. We have a G10 backspacer, and like I said, it is a lockback knife. And these are riding on phosphor bronze washers, which is pretty cool for the price. And you can't see those either. That's been a fruitless endeavor. Alright, let's get into some size comparisons here. Start off with your Civivi Dogma. And your Civivi Odium. As you can see, much larger than both of those. This is a pretty large frickin' knife here. Now let's get into your Ontario Rat Model 1 and your Ontario Rat Model 2. As you can see, it's still bigger than the Rat 1, which is, once again, the Rat 1's not a small knife. Here we have it up against the PM2 and your paramilitary 3. Still larger than both of those. And last but not least, let's do your feldspar sandwich. There's a large feldspar and the mini feldspar. Still larger than both of those. I understand this is larger than every knife that I've shown you, but I'm doing my typical knives. I don't have anything around this size other than maybe my Defcon Kabuto that can compare. So what are my overall thoughts on this guy? I'm kind of cruising right along as I get better at these. So the lockback is very solid. This thing feels, even though it's FRN, I've never said FRN feels solid. For the first time, FRN does feel solid with this stainless steel backspacer, plus you got this G10 riding the whole way. You got a lot of positions for grip. Your ergonomics on this knife are absolutely fantastic. You can grab it there, get it there, try the reverse grip. I never use this, but I see this in some reviews, so the ergonomics are just great. The blade shape is very good. 25 thousandths behind the edge is pretty darn slicey. The opening mechanism, while it's not fidgety, the rollout and the snap from the rollout feels pretty good too. And you get this large snap from this lockback. Listen. Right? That's substantial. So there's something about that that's pretty sweet. What we don't really like is we got the FRN scales. Nobody really likes FRN scales, but for 30 bucks for a wannabe Spyderco, I'm not mad at the FRN. Plus Spyderco makes their lightweights, which plenty of people like their lightweight in the FRN. It's okay for the price. The pocket clip is just meh. There's nothing special about this pocket clip other than the fact that you can put it in 4 different locations, which is cool. We have some writing here. It says Byrd 8CR13 China. Obviously this was made in China, and some trademark symbol. And then you have the Byrd Cara 2 right there. And we also don't like how many frickin' screws are in this guy. Like I said, there's 7 T6 screws. Is there any blade play? No, there is no blade play. Let's check the centering. Now, it's not really too fair to check the centering. It's a little off. I'm sure I can find its center, and I will. Why? Because Jake has given me this knife to review. Not only has Jake given me this knife to review, he has donated this knife to the channel. Freaking awesome of him to do so. That is, I can't express beyond words what I mean, that's obviously dumbfounded, right? Absolutely amazing. So, real quick to recap all the thoughts. What do I like? Well, I like the opening hole. I think it's interesting by comparison of most Spydercos. It's just unique. I like how they did something slightly different. I think it's kind of funny that we always say Spydercos look like a dying pelican or something, and they named it Byrd. I think that's hilarious for their off-brand. What do I love? I love the blade length. I love the cutting edge that you get on this. I love the fact that you have so much blade to work with. The lockback's pretty nice, and you know what? The ergonomics are what really kill it here. The ergonomics of this knife are fantastic. What don't I like? I really don't like the FRN scales, but for 30 bucks, again, be relative with what you're doing. I don't really like the pocket clip, but can I complain? And I really don't like the 8CR13. But again, for the price, if this is something that strikes you and you want an ergonomically sound knife from a manufacturer that we know is great, you know, those complaints are kind of non-existent for the price. I mean, you're getting a freaking, you know, off-brand Spyderco made by probably the same manufacturers as Spyderco. I'd have to look that up. And the fit and finish, you know, it's a very good knife for 30 bucks. Like I said, you're getting the Spyderco name, even if it's not there. I don't know if I mentioned, but the liners are recessed and skeletonized, but we'll throw that in there at the end. So this is the Byrd Cara 2. Thank you again, Jake, so much for sending a review. Thank you again, Jake, for sending it and donating it to the channel. You guys will see this in an upcoming giveaway that we have as a knife that we're going to give away. Any knife that is donated to the channel, I might hold on longer or shorter depending on what the knife is, right? But if a knife is donated, it's only fair to give it back to the community. So any knife that is donated, such as this one, I will be doing a giveaway on and letting somebody get their hands on this knife. Obviously, after I give it a little bit of TLC, I'll bring that knife back to center, and I'll make sure you guys have a screaming sharp edge on this knife before it goes out to you. That's all I got for you guys today. My name is Tyler. This has been Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp. Stay safe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great freaking day.